Hi guys, my name is Nora, and I'm starting this blog because I want to talk about real world issues that our country is facing right now and what other countries are facing as well. I know that a lot of younger adults and adults too are kind of not in the know when it comes to our government decisions and what's happening inside and outside of our country. I know that recently a lot of new policies and a lot of new laws have gone into effect that have scared and worried a lot of people because it takes away a lot of resources or things like that. And I understand that a lot of this is because of the new presidency term with Trump, and I understand if you voted for him. I don't care what, like, if you're a liberal or if you're a conservative. I don't care. I truly believe that Trump is not seeking for the best of our country. He's seeking for what he wants. And I know that's very controversial, but that's my opinion, and you can respect that or not. It doesn't bother me either way. But recently, in his beginning of his term, he's set out a lot of new policies, and he's driven to dismantle and take down a lot of sites or other organizations that are key resources for a lot of people inside and outside of our country that I don't think a lot of people are thinking about when it comes to these decisions. And honestly, the most notable one recently has been the drive to pull the United States out of the World Health Organization. And in doing so, it takes out a lot of the funding because, yes, the United States does fund a lot of this, but we also help a lot of people and we give the resources needed. And, excuse me, and if it pulls us out, it would leave a lot of countries without their biggest donor, and that's so hard to even comprehend, especially just, a rural country town. You can't really think about that. And it's crazy because alongside that, he's been driving to dismantle the USAID, which is the United States Agency for International Development. And recently I saw a video about a woman in another country who was planning to go to this clinic because she has HIV, and that clinic was the only one that could help her. And it was closed down because of the insufficient fundings that has been happening all over because of our pull from it. This another controversial thing recently about the um, drive to dismantle the USAID is that Trump needs approval from Congress, which he doesn't have and he never got when he did this. So throughout this whole process that he's trying to get rid of the Agency for International Development, he has not taken into account that he doesn't have the authority for that. He needs authority from Congress, which has put a lot of people on the spot and questioning whether or not he's doing this for the greater good of the country. And alongside that, in the beginning of his term, he really, really drove to take down a lot of public health websites. I know that a lot of public health websites that help with women's pregnancies and abortions and such have been taken down, taking a lot of resources away from women who are confused or don't know what to do if they're pregnant or such. And I understand opinions on pro-life versus pro-choice, but you really do need to think pro-choice is I can't even explain it. I understand that God is an aspect, and that's why a lot of people support pro-life, but pro-choice gives women the ability to take control of their own body and take control of their own lives, which is threatened very heavily because whether it's rape or incest or something like that, if a woman can't get an abortion, she can die during labor or even just during pregnancy. And there can be so many complications during pregnancy that people fail to remember, and that's why they support pro-life. I believe that it's honestly why are we taking that resource away from women when women are the ones who are reproducing and giving us these babies in our world. Like, we should not be doing that, especially, I mean, I can understand if you think that a woman who made the choice not to use protection or something like that should be not allowed to get an abortion because it was her choice, but it is still her body. And that's been very controversial in the past few years because a lot of people don't believe um, that it should be pro-choice, and I know that a lot of people in government have taken "your body, my choice" into their own sayings. They've said that before. That's not okay, honestly. Like, it's really not. And I don't understand why we can't allow women to do what they want. And especially with that, another thing that Trump has recently done is rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which is really challenging to comprehend, because why are we changing something that's been in place for so long? It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. And I think that it has racial reasons. And I know that's hard to prove, but it, alongside of the immigration deportation things, changing from the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, just, are we trying to make ourselves better than the people of Mexico? I don't understand that. And getting into immigration, like, I just, I don't understand it. Why? I understand that migrants might be taking our jobs, but they really make America work. They work in our factories. They do the work that a lot of the people, like American people, don't want to do. I know that in California on strawberry and fruit farms, a lot of the workers are immigrants who have helped the food go in and out. And I think that, like, why are we trying to take them away when they're such a big part of our economy and such a big part of our life? And recently, the Day Without Immigrants protest has happened, and although it didn't spark a lot of um, businesses to close, almost 250 nationwide closed in support of this protest because they believe that it they help America work, and without immigrants a lot of places will shut down. And I know that the Pope even criticized Trump for doing all of this and his great migrant deportation things. Like, the Pope has criticized him on this, and honestly, if you're getting insulted by the Pope, that's kind of crazy. Why are you still doing this? Can you not see, like, what is wrong with that? And I understand deporting the illegal aliens who have committed serious crimes, but deporting the immigrants who have done nothing wrong except help our country is not logical. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why we're doing it, and it's just, I know there's both sides to the story when it comes to something like that, but there's really not. I believe that aliens who have come to our country and committed a very serious crime or committed crimes should be deported, but I don't believe that immigrants who have tried to who have done nothing but try to help our country should not be, because they help our economy go around. And in the migration and deportation part of it, Trump has talked about opening Guantanamo Bay to these immigrants and trying to house over 30,000 prisoners there, but Guantanamo Bay is not big enough for that. It cannot hold that many people. And recently, in the past, there has been about 10 or so or less prisoners there who have committed the worst atrocities that we can think of, like people from the 9/11 attack and individuals like that. And recently, it has grown to 70 individuals who are in that prison. And although that may not seem like a lot, it's still a significant amount of people who are being sent to this prison. Why are we sending people to the place that has like tortured and hurt people so badly in the past? Why are we opening that up again? And it's the history behind Guantanamo Bay is very interesting. It was won by the United States in the Spanish American Wars, and it's the longest lasting out of country US military base, and because it's based in Cuba. And recently I've read that the Cuban president has blocked Trump from sending as many immigrants as he wants there because they don't support it, which I agree with them. I don't believe that innocent people should be sent there for no reason other than being in a country without a passport. And um a lot of people in the government have even said how they don't agree with it, especially because it would be the least effective and the most expensive option. I know that money has kind of been a hot topic issue in our country there for the past couple of years because of how high prices have gotten, especially in education and home ownership. And I know that a lot of people struggle with that. And recently, Trump has um, stopped the production of pennies, which I found quite interesting because it costs 2 to 4 cents to create just one penny. I think that's a really interesting ratio because it costs almost 13 cents to make a dime as well, which is hard to justify because those are somewhat important parts of our lives that kind of do keep the world running, keep our country running at least. And I know with the rising egg prices recently that a lot of people have like started to realize what kind of issues that our country are having. And the reason I bring up the rising egg prices, because that's the next thing I want to talk about, is the rise of the bird flu, because I feel like that's such an interesting topic that a lot of people haven't been discussing recently. And I know that it's most susceptible and most vulnerable to like dairy dairy cows, chickens, obviously birds, but in studies, there have been about 68 confirmed human cases in the past year and a half, and one death already from it. And if we can't contain this influenza breakout, then it can lead to another pandemic like 2020 and COVID. But it is suspected to kill off 60% of our population instead of just 0.1% like COVID did. And to think about that and put that into perspective, like 6 out of 10 people around you would be gone. You could be one of them, and like that's such an interesting topic to talk about that we haven't really discussed a lot in school or in other areas of news. And I'm I don't know. I just like it's like, now this video isn't very put together or anything, but I believe that speaking our truths and speaking our opinions is what's gonna help educate more people on what's happening in our world. And thank you for watching.